Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Meadowbrook Kids. Our ponder point for this week's lesson is this: God is real. All right, say it one more time with me. You guys ready? God is real. All right, we've been learning that God's the real God. Elisha showed the servants of Baal that 4 weeks ago. We learned that with King Josiah, and we learned about with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, we have an awesome lesson planned for you guys today, and you guys will learn about that in a little bit. But before we do that, I want to go over our Connect question. Our Connect question is this: what's the closest you've ever been to a big, wild, hungry animal? Ooh. Well, I have been to South Africa, and the closest I've been is I was in a truck that had a cage around the outside, and so we drove up. I was literally 5 feet away from a lion, all right? And they were walking around the truck, and I was a little scared because I wasn't sure if they're hungry, if they tried to jump in the truck to get us. Luckily, they didn't. I think they had fed them right before we came in, so we were pretty safe. But we were in a caged truck, and that was the closest I've ever been to an animal that would want to eat me. And that's the truth. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump to our memory verse. Our memory verse this week is a brand new one. We have a new verse for the month of February, and our verse is this. It is Proverbs 19:21, and it says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Proverbs 19:21. This is a great verse. Proverbs have lots of wisdom in them, and I want you guys to memorize this and hide it in your heart, okay? This is going to be a great verse. Well, we're going to learn about Daniel and the lions then today. You guys might have heard this story before, but I think you guys are going to love how my friend tells it today. Okay, but before we get to our lesson, I want us to play a game. We're going to have a snowflake race again, all right? Make sure you pick the left, the middle, or the right one, and pick the right one to win this time, all right? Unfortunately, last time I picked a snowflake, I got it wrong. So hopefully we all can pick the right one today. I'm going to go ahead and pick the center snowflake today. All right, well, enjoy our lesson. Bye.
Jesus is our righteousness. God keeps his promises. God's Son brings peace. God honors faith. God inspires worship. God is trustworthy. God is the one and only. God awakens us. God rescues. God is real. God is always at work. God restores. God is Lord of the harvest. The master builder, God's hand at work.
Today in the Big God Story, we learn about Daniel. And let me give you a sneak preview. Daniel has a problem. It's bigger than this, or even this. It's really, really big. But I know that God is real, and he always answers my prayers, so I have a feeling he's going to help Daniel too. So let's jump right in. Daniel lived in Babylon, and the king of Babylon at that time met Daniel and decided that he really liked Daniel. This king liked Daniel so much that he made Daniel a leader in his kingdom. This made the other leaders jealous, though, and they began to look for a way to get Daniel in trouble. But Daniel, he was a really good worker. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find anything to get him in trouble for. So these men decided to get Daniel in trouble because he loved and followed God. You know, Daniel was very devoted to God. He prayed 3 times a day, every single day. And the leaders knew this and wanted to get him in trouble for praying. So the jealous leaders went to the king and tricked him into signing a law that said for a whole month, no one could pray to anyone other than the king. Anyone who prayed to God instead of praying to the king would be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel soon heard of this new law, but he wasn't afraid because he knew that God is real. So Daniel kept praying to the one true God. The jealous leaders saw this and told the king right away. They said, "Daniel pays no attention to you, your majesty, or to your decrees. He still prays 3 times a day." Well, what could the king do? He couldn't change the law he had just written. He tried to find a way to rescue Daniel, but it was too late. So Daniel was thrown into the pit of lions. A stone was placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it shut. The king that night didn't sleep or eat. He was so worried about his friend Daniel. The next morning, the king hurried to the pit of lions and saw something amazing. Daniel was alive. Daniel's God is real. The Bible says no wound is found on him because he had trusted in God. The king knew God had saved Daniel because God is real. Throughout this difficulty, Daniel knew that God is real, really real. Daniel prayed to God, and God saved him from the hungry lions and changed the king's heart too. Do you have a problem in your life right now? Okay, maybe you're not at risk of being thrown into a lion's den, but maybe you have a problem that looks like this, or maybe like this. God is real, and he will help you. Bring your problem to him, no matter how big or small. God will do amazing things when you pray to ask for his help. Our God is real.